Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Threesome. And this is a new dramedy romance from director Chad Hartigan and writer Ethan Ogilvy. And Hartigan has experience with films like directing Little Fish, Morris from America, and this particular film finds a young man, Connor, played by Jonah Hauer-King, who winds up with his perennial crush, who leads him into an unexpected threesome, and his perennial crush, played by Zoe Deutsch, and this other young woman, played by Ruby Cruz. And, should be a fantasy, but when all things are sober, these two women are pregnant, and now we're stuck in a situation where Connor's looking at two women, one who he feels so badly bringing into this whole situation, and one who he's desperately wanted to be with for so long, both being pregnant and him being pulled in two different directions. And this film, in very subtle, low-key ways, is a really well-directed film and really well put together. First off, it has texture to it. It doesn't just feel like this modern comedy that's just all bright, overly saturated. There's moments where good use of shadow, and there's one particular scene, which is the threesome, the build-up to it, where there's just the sexual tension that Hartigan's able to craft and build and manipulate through very subtle camera choices, and then the editing in this film is really well done. There's a few moments where the editing's very effective in terms of like, hey, the morning after, and slowly revealing who's left in the aftermath, or different moments like that. So in general, I think this is a really well put together film, and I think they balance the tone really well of trying to have some humor here, but dealing with some like weighty kinds of issues. And pregnancy's no joke. It deals with the possibility of getting an abortion, and the women choosing if they want to move forward with these pregnancies, and there's complications of who each of them's involved with, and you have Connor being pulled in different directions. And this film, I really feel like you take a step back and realize how well Hartigan is working the audience, because you feel so connected and you care so much about any little betrayal or any little moment of making one of them feel bad. There's so much empathy that Hartigan's able to craft in this film for us to feel, especially for these two women. And to be honest, Zoe Deutsch is electric in this. She's incredible. She does such a fantastic job of bringing a lot of personality to her character, Olivia, but also not skimping out on these weighty issues and challenges that she's going through as a character. And you just feel all that emotion. And then you have Cruz, who is just feeling so alone and disconnected, and the challenge of her telling her parents that her and Connor are together, when in actuality Connor wants nothing more than to be with Olivia. And those challenges and the scenes that they set up, there's pretty big impactful moments as the film goes on. There's some twists and turns that did not expect to see coming and add complexity to this whole situation. And I do feel like this film finds its way and realizes that these children coming into the world should not force anybody into situations that they don't want to be in with somebody else but these children, and making sure that they're not letting down these two babies that are going to be coming into this world. And there's some good supporting turns from Jabuki Young White, who is Connor's like best friend. He's a lot of fun, good comic relief. Josh Segarra from A Big Door Prize, I think he does a really fine job as this married man who wants to keep sleeping around with Olivia. And Robert Longstreet, who plays Jenny, the other young woman's father, he brings some real weight to some moments and intensity that I think are really needed to really just give the whole perspective on the consequences of this situation. And the performances are all there. Except I feel like the biggest drawback for this film is all centered around Connor. And I don't know if it's on the page or Hauer-King's just not really bringing more out of him, but this character feels so much less interesting and empathetic compared to Olivia and Jenny. And it takes you out of the film a bit, and it kind of makes, like, I took a step back and, like, it kind of feels like maybe these two young women who had a connection too should just be together and raising these two kids. Like, I had those thoughts watching this film, and it's hard because he is the focal point. He's the one that we're going through this story with, and he's in this crossroads. And there should have been something more that clicked about this character to really pull the audience in deeper. But Hartigan does so well with so many things in this film. And Olivia and Jenny are great characters, and who Deutsch and Cruz bring so much to these characters, bring them personality and empathy and these feelings, that so much of this film does work. And it's a complicated story that takes what should be, what you would expect, very schlocky aughts comedy to be messing around with. Is like, go out of threesome and knock them both up. But no, there's so much empathy and care and tenderness that was translated into this film, and a lot of that goes to Hartigan, who really elevated this material to deliver a compelling and engrossing film. But those are my thoughts on the Threesome. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.